Now, if I am a student who has won a singing competition in my 10th class, won it in my during my intermediate, and I've been winning my singing competition right through my graduation. So, should I be mentioning it on my resume saying won it in 10th class, won it in intermediate, won it in graduation, or should I be consolidating all these points into one single point? What is your advice?
No, no, no. You will not mention it 3 bullet points. The reason is it will seem forced otherwise. When a HR person looks at the resume, it should not seem that you are just trying to fill in the page. That will not serve the purpose. The whole idea is to show the fact that you have done something. And in this case, for example, the example you cited, you have done 3 things, but all the 3 related to only one thing, that is singing. So what is that I would do? I can rephrase it in a way that is very clearly conveyed. For example, actively participated in many singing competitions and won many competitions in schooling as well as in college. Now, if you look at this phrase, it captures all the 3 one. But there is a second way you can do it. Let us say, for example, on the 3 things, there are 3 different levels, not just the classes. For example, you probably would have one in district level or national level and maybe a level in only taluk, which is the lowest end. Then all you need to mention is that you have won the national level award. Now, for me, once I know the fact that you have won the national level award, it's not going to really matter to me whether district level you have won or not. For me, national is much more than district. So in that condition, I would suggest only mentioning of 1, which is the most important one, is more than sufficient. You don't really need to rush into mention 3.
That's a valid point. The other query I have is, I am a cadet in NCC. So where should I be mentioning this, or where should I be highlighting this point on my resume?
NCC talks about many things. It talks about discipline. NCC is a case where you get up early in the morning, you need to do the march past. And in case it so happens that you have been promoted up the ladder, that talks about your leadership skill. NCC also talks about a chance for you to probably, go and interact with other NCC cadets of various other groups as well. So NCC is a big plus. I can't call that as an achievement because NCC is something that anyone and everyone can join. But promotion there will obviously be an achievement. Now, where will it go? As I said earlier, we have 3 elements. We have academics, we have extracurricular, we have co-curricular. Obviously, NCC is not related to studies. Therefore, it will neither come in academics nor come in co-curricular. So by default, it will come in extracurricular activities.
Now, if something like class representative, the fact that I am a CR of my class, should I be presenting in achievements or should I be presenting under activities?
CR, class representative, is an achievement for sure. You need to understand, in a class of 60, 1 or probably 2 of them have been given that special position. And that is a position of responsibility. Now, I know in few colleges, a student is selected rather than elected. Nevertheless, even if the student is selected, the fact of the matter is, he or she has to run the show for the whole semester. So, class representative, general secretary of student council, president of the student council, without fail, these are big responsibilities, and therefore, they would obviously come under achievements.
And you would suggest them to be possibly the number 1 point under achievements as well?
No, I believe that depends. For example, if one were to go for a company which is emphasizing on leadership skill, yes. There are students who go for short service commission, SSB interviews, military interviews. Their leadership skill is the most important thing. Now, class representative, president of the student council, all these are leadership traits. In that condition, yes, but I will not make such a blanket statement because it also depends on what are the other achievements the person probably carries along with himself or herself.
Great. The other query, students keep expressing with me is, predominantly is on the social service they have been doing. Sir, I donate blood. I organize a lot of blood donation camps, etc., etc. So, could I present this under hobbies, or should they come under achievements or under extracurricular activities? Where do you design them, and do you rate them to be good enough to be put on resume?
I'll answer in the reverse. Social activities, we give a lot of weightage to. Today, if you were to look at any corporate, you go to the website, every corporate will talk about its own contribution to the society, and that is something that every company wants its own team members to have. So yes, a person who has donated blood, especially, let's not forget, not taking money, so it's a social side. People could have taken part in activities like even running a marathon against a very important event, like we had very recently, probably in 6 months back, we had a marathon which was more to educate people against women and women problems like rape. Now, all these are relevant to us. It shows the fact that a person is no more only selfish, he is also, outwardly tuned towards the society, which is something every company today values. Therefore, yes, it has to be written. Where should it be written? It's an extracurricular activity. Surely it's not a hobby. Hobby is something that you do to relax. Hobby is something that helps you late in the night, you just take off for a couple of times just because you've had a rough day that day. That is a hobby. Now, I do know a few people who love interacting with the poor, and probably they do it as a hobby, but to majority of the students, it would be an extracurricular activity for sure.
All right, brilliant. One of the cliched lines I see in resumes is, I am the chief organizer of my cultural event.
Right.
I am the chief, I have been in the organizing committee of, my festival, college festival.
Right.
And I get to see it out of the 200 students I interview in a college, 150 students present that.
Right.
Now, how do, as an interviewer, do you differentiate from somebody who has actually been a chief organizer or not? And two, if I do not want to be a part of those mass, what is the care I need to take so that point impresses the interviewer?